do we have? First rates, so it's going to be about 1/3% higher. It is 0.36, 23,040. The Nifty Bank is about 49,000, a little over 49,000, about 0.15 higher. You've got the mid-cap index up about 1/4%. Mid-cap index was down 1/4% by close yesterday. Actually, I should say only down 1/4% because at one point it was down almost 1.8%. And then the small cap index will come up as well to give you a quick sense of where we are starting. That is up as well. That ended about 1.7, 1.8 lower after being down 4. So about a quarter, feeble kind of recovery, but it's green 16,000 and 38 on the small cap space. About 2:1 advanced decline, but stocks are still opening up. Nifty heat map is up on your screen. There's more up than down and some green, actually lots of green this morning. So let's see if it holds 23.35 with about an 80-odd point gain. Guys.
Well, Bajaj Auto is your top Nifty gainer, up 2%. There's lots to like in the numbers, as Sudarshan was pointing out. It was a margin-led beat. And analysts also like the export story. The company is guiding for exports to grow at 20% for the next few months, while the industry overall, domestic, should grow at 6 to 8%. Even the EV portfolio is turning out quite well. So Bajaj Auto is your top gainer, 2.5% up. Cipla continues with its rebound from yesterday. Post numbers yesterday, Cipla was higher, margins look good, and Cipla has added on another 2%. Tech is leading the rebound today following Nasdaq's recovery. So Infosys, Wipro, Tech Mahindra, all three gaining close to about 1.5%. TCS follows with a 0.5% up move. So IT is on the front foot today after the losses over the last, earlier this week. Other gainers include BEL, Adani Enterprises, Apollo Hospitals. But again, the gains there are limited to about 0.5%. On the way down, you've got BPCL that's taken a knock, that's down nearly 2%. HDFC Life is subdued, JSW Steel is weak. And keep your eye out on ITC. As we said, ITC Hotels list today. It makes its debut on Dalal Street. ITC for now is flat with a positive bias. And Maruti and Tata Motors are two stocks to watch because they report their numbers later.
Well, that's right, Rima. Just to pull out a few stocks, that are bouncing back. Sigma SGS, that's up close to 9%. So that's very, very good news. And it's up close to around 9% as we speak. CG Power, that's bounced up close to around 5.5%. We'll speak to the management in just a short while from now. Suzlon saw a sharp correction from the top. For the time being, it's bounced back. Anant Raj, they put out a clarification now with regard to their exposure to data centers. So that as well is up close to around 5%. I'm looking at some of the losers. JM Financial is down close to around 8%. So I'm not sure what's gone on there. Numbers. All right. So that's taken a hard knock. 8.5% lower. Apar Industry is one of those big gainers in the last few years. Well, it's gone up more than 10 times, I think, in the last 4 years. Yesterday, it was down 20%. Today as well, it's down close to around 4%. So let's see whether or not there is any kind of interest that comes at lower levels. Piramal Pharma, numbers didn't look too bad, but the stock is down close to around 2.5% as we speak. So for the time being, the markets are in the green. The breadth of the market, if we can end anywhere close to this, 3 stocks advancing with 1 stock that's declining, the bulls will feel very, very good. And it's been a while since they felt so good. But the good part is we still have stocks like Sirma that are bouncing back, now up 10%. Wow. When did we see that last?
Absolutely. NetWeb is recovering about 7-odd%. One-way fall, right? I mean, the bottom of the screen. Actually, one of the sharpest falls has been in NetWeb. But coming up with about a 200,000 share volume right now, 1565. And that is related to sort of, data center hardware and a bunch of businesses which are related and feeding into that sort of AI-led infra build-out. Now, the other, of course, as Nigel mentioned, is Anant Raj. Both, by the way, have put out clarifications this morning about the fact that DeepSeek is not going to sort of hurt them. If anything, it expands the market. And with Anant Raj, of course, it was the data center build out and that was propelling the stock higher. Valuations aside, I mean, they're saying that it should not hurt. So that's Anant Raj for you. But otherwise, I mean, I think it's largely up and about with a fair bit happening at this point in time. So slowly, the mid-cap index has crept up to about being 0.5 higher. The small-cap index is up about 0.65. We've got about a 100-odd point gain there. as well. Rima?
Just these capital market related plays, the cyclicality is now showing up. So JM Financial is one where the net profits declined by 22%, but even Motilal Oswal is down 3.5%, reacting to the Q2 numbers. Again, profits are down nearly 14-15%, and that stock is under pressure. So whether it's the brokerages or the wealth managers or depositories, I think this quarter has been a bit of a check for these capital market plays, which have had a one-way run over the last couple of days. So keep your eye on that. Today, these are the two earnings, JM Financial and Motilal Oswal. VIP, keep your eye on that because competition is really hurting VIP. And this quarter, VIP has reported a loss and the stock is down nearly 4%. On the way up, it's Ixigo or Late Revenues Tech, where the numbers are looking good and the stock has gained nearly about 4.5%. And BHEL, that, Vamakshi was just telling us about how the top line looked good, the order book is robust. Brokerages are betting on it, 4% up on BHEL.
Well, I just want to pull up the intraday chart of a few stocks. You pull up JSW Energy, the stock was down 10%. They've seen some kind of a recovery from the days low, maybe some shorts in the system as well that could have played a role. But that's up close to 7% from the low point of the day. That chart's telling you the picture. Piramal Pharma is the other one. That as well was down. That as well has seen a bit of a recovery. And SBI Cards as well, I think it started off 5% down. That's cut its losses a little bit. So at lower levels, some of these stocks seeing some kind of support. So let's see how that goes. But the Nifty Bank, that's the one that needs to drive home the advantage. For the time being, it's up close to around 50 points. It's doing a relative underperformance in the first few minutes of trade. That needs to drive the Nifty higher if at all we need to go past.
TVS Motors, a stock that Sudarshan was just telling us now is one to watch because in the conference call, the company spoke about improving margins. TVS Motors, straight off the back, early trade, 7% up on TVS Motors. So that's clearly the star in today's trade in the auto pack.
No, absolutely. And I think as, for the broader market, maybe, if you're typically in mid-caps and small caps correct very fast, and if you're not out within the first 5%, 10%, then you kind of wait.
Yeah.
That's the normal human kind of, psychologically it is very difficult. So as they say, right, if you panic early.
Yeah.
Otherwise, don't panic. Because now I think it's the point is that maybe the selling pressure we've had, that may be starting to abate. Whether stocks will rebound with the same ferocity is another question.
Yes.
Broadly speaking.
Yeah, and another point, Prashant, is some of these stocks that are seeing that incremental, from 20% falling 30%, it's because of trading action. May not be so much related to the fundamentals because there could be a large holder in there who's stuck in some other position and that's why there is some liquidation. So in the near term, some of these companies which could have come to those attractive levels, they are actually reacting to the trading action rather than the fundamentals. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that part as well. And sometimes, selectively, some of these provide great entry opportunities. So we'll have to see how that goes. For well-run companies with trading at decent valuations and in fact promising growth. And promising growth as well.
Absolutely. Well.